Hello, welcome back. Time now for culture and a window on the world. Our reporter Yves Irvine is just back from the world's biggest photojournalism festival in the southern French town of Perpignan. Welcome back, Yves.
Thanks very much.
Now, you've been to see some 30 exhibitions from all over the globe, covering a really wide variety of themes, from the Sami people in northern Norway to the war in Syria. It's a lot to take in. What's the exhibition that really stood out the most for you?
Well, indeed, it is a lot to take in, and I was quite shocked actually at how each collection I found very, very powerful. Never mind what theme it was going for, but there is one that has stuck really in my mind, and that was a series of photos by Stephanie Sinclair entitled Child Brides, and she basically went across countries, Afghanistan, Yemen, India, Nepal, photographing these kids that are married off from as young as 5 years of age.
5 years of age?
Absolutely. This little girl there with the yellow veil is 5 years old. She was woken up in the middle of the night by her uncle. She doesn't even know what's happening as she's being brought to her wedding. Some quite shocking photos. There we have a 55-year-old man with an 8-year-old girl. With Western eyes, we find this, extremely shocking. But Stephanie Sinclair did actually tell me that it's not just our eyes that find it like this. She got pretty exclusive access to these scenes because the families themselves want this to change. They want it to stop. And in a lot of the case, they basically marry off their little girls because they need to financially. So let's take a quick listen to how she got that access and the effect she believes it has on the kids.
Almost always the kids are pulled out of school, and that hurts the whole community. To some people, it's not their problem. It's not their person to educate anymore. I even had one woman say to me, "Why feed someone else's cow?" In that instance, it's not that mother was a horrible person, it's just that she didn't even value herself. And one woman in Afghanistan, actually it's the mother of the young girl you mentioned who was smiling, she flat out told me, "We're selling our girls because we can't afford the rest of our children." So she wanted the community, the international community, to know.
So some really incredible access that she managed to get there, right into the hearts of those families. There was also some other photojournalists there who got access into a country that we don't see inside of very often.
Absolutely. North Korea, it's extremely rare to get any access. Now, 3 photographers at the Visa pour l'Image had gone in. Pedro Ugarte and Ed Jones were invited to come and photograph the 100th anniversary of the founder of North Korea. So their collection shows the pomp and ceremony in a large part, but still amazing to see this symmetry, this, amazingly interesting pictures of North Korea. But they said that while they were happy to get access, because any access is better than none, they were frustrated and, they spent a lot of their time trying to take snapshots through the bus, as one of those photographers, Pedro Ugarte, tells us.
A lot of the pictures were taken basically through the windows of the cars, for example, in organized visits by them. So, yeah, it's quite a challenge to try to come back with something that you think, okay, it's pictures that you feel show a little bit what the society is about.
So you see the pictures on the train and all, but it still shows a pretty polished image of North Korea. Now, there was another collection by Dmitry Sagoli. He went and filmed the famine in North Korea, but again, while he went in with an NGO, it was, he said, a very strictly controlled visit. And even there, the famine, the hospitals that we see the children in are, not as dire perhaps as we might have imagined.
OK, now onto an exhibition where it was a photographer photographing his own native country. That was Afghanistan, Masood Hosseini.
Exactly, the very first Afghani actually to win the Pulitzer Prize for photography. He won it for what I think is an amazing photo entitled "The Girl in Green."
Her brother died in front of her leg, her feet, and she just was trying to get attention to her brother.
On December 6th last year, a suicide attack in Kabul killed scores, including members of 10-year-old Tahrana's family. Masood Hosseini photographed her hell and has kept in contact ever since.
I went again and met her several times, but she always was in the scene, Her spirit stayed there forever. And all the time she dreams about it.
An Afghan photographing the horrors in his native country. Masood says it's often hard, sometimes impossible, to remain an objective observer. He remembers bombings where he dropped his camera and started helping his fellow countrymen.
But in this, difficult moment, I was completely another person, you know. I was completely lost myself for some second, and I just found that the only help that I can is record their pain.
A pain he feels the international community fails to fully recognise.
Everybody in Afghanistan all the time feel that they're forgotten by world. And right now, when they heard about the 2014, the troops will leave, everybody is really shocked and really sad, and they're trying to kind of leave the country as much as they can.
10 years after Allied troops entered Afghanistan, Masood is sorry his snapshots can't capture the change he was hoping for, and he too is now thinking of leaving.
Okay, so we've talked about 3 of the topics that were covered at the festival. Eve, there were plenty more. Do you want to talk us through some of the other ones that caught your eye?
Absolutely. I wish I could actually show them all. Each of them got to me. They were all very powerful. There was another one about mental health. There we see it by Robin Hammond in certain countries where mental health just isn't accepted. Then it went to the Sami people in Norway, Eric Larsen taking snapshots there. That was perhaps the most light-hearted. And this picture is in Swaziland, where, you know, the photographic collection there explained to us how women's mortality has dropped from 60 to 30 years of age now.
Gosh,
in the last
wow.
10 years. Yeah.
Absolutely
So,
hard-hitting
pretty
stuff
heavy,
there.
I have to say.
Very heavy, but beautiful
this
pictures.
Amazing.
Thank you so
amazing
much for
footage.
reporting on that for us, Eve Irvine there. That's it from us in the newsroom for now. Do stay tuned. Plenty more news coming up very shortly.